Hello, so it's me. My number one fan told me not to go live today, so I'm live. And for those of you who may have missed it, my number one fan is my mother. So I saw that Rob Kenobi went live earlier. I'm gonna have to check that out. But I have my assistant. I was gonna say my favorite assistant. I have my assistant and I have this old webcam. Now, honestly, this webcam I could probably connect to the TV, and my new webcam I could probably put back where it was. But if I put my new webcam back where it was, you probably wouldn't see Saturn. And I know how much y'all have been missing Saturn. So I made that. Put up the picture. Hey, Holly, how you doing? I put up that picture of like what, two paths, three tracks, because I was intending on doing the reading, but it hasn't happened. And there have been a few times I was like, oh, I'm going to go do it. And so when I hooked the PlayStation 3 up to play El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, I thought I finished that game. Apparently, I haven't. Excuse me. But thank you. When I got that, it is in rest mode. Why didn't that work? Hmm. Anyway, I had to take the cord from my monitor to hook up the PlayStation 3. And I've been going live from my desktop, and I need a monitor with my desktop. Now I'm going live on my laptop because I felt like being defiant and rebellious today in my post adolescent phase. Um, so, yeah, that's why I'm on this. I was just going to use my laptop webcam, but I was like, oh, I just found this webcam the other day. This is the one I was using before. Before, Rod told me in all of his techno wizardry knowledge that you can crop the OBS videos. It would be like super wide. So I'm going to use my assistant to roll a d6 to see how many tarot cards I use. And then I'm going to roll a d4 to see how many interactive points. And I'm going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot and the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits. Also, apparently today I've been thrust out of the broom closet this, week and a half before Halloween. One of my coworkers was like, oh, so I heard that you read tarot cards. And I was like, what? Like, who said that? What are you talking about? That happened. That was completely unexpected. Um, that's fine. My other coworker was like, "Oh, will you bring cards tomorrow to work to read me?" And I'm like, we'll see. I'll probably take a deck. Like the Witch's Tarot used to be my, like, back when I only had three decks: the Wild Unknown Tarot, Animal Spirits, and the Witch's Tarot. The Witch's Tarot was my use on other people / travel deck. Um, Excuse me. And I wasn't going to mention it, but full disclosure, we had a work mixer question mark. We had an after hours today, and I had like four drinks because they paid for them, and I had a ride home. So that's why my number one fan was like, "You better not go live." I'm like, "I'm going live. I don't care." Hey Google, roll a d6.
You rolled 5.
5. So we're gonna do 5 of these. I'm gonna close my eyes. The Son of Swords has popped out with the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. I'm gonna leave the Son of Swords out. I'm gonna put them back because I want to pull all 5 cards, and then I'm gonna roll a d4 for how many cards of the animal interactions I pull. So, what'd you say? Yeah, because I told her, she was like, "Well, I don't want you to read for me and then like feel some type of way and never read. Like, you don't want to talk to me." I read for it was at the end of my sentence at the last job. It was at the end of my contract, I guess, at the last job, and we were watching Stranger Things back when the latest season had come out, and I was like, "Oh, like somebody just gifted me the Stranger Things tarot." And there was another guy who ran a non-metaphysical card shop, like a trading card shop. I was like, "Oh, I got the Dungeons and Dragons tarot," and when I brought the Stranger Things tarot, one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, you should read me," and I was. I was like, oh, like, I'm an amateur. Like, I don't like, who is this? The world card with the emperor at the bottom of the deck. Wait. And the ace of pentacles behind that. Wait. And they look similar, don't they? And, I ended up reading for her, but she was like, I was like, there's a hermit again, the world and the hermit. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'll be nice. I'm like, oh, yeah, this looks like prosperity. I'll say I lie if I have to, but I don't. I wouldn't. All right, so 6. It was 5 actually. We'll do one more of these. I just saw the King of Pentacles. Stop flipping over. I promise these decks don't talk unless I don't want them to. The King of Swords, the Daughter of Swords, and the Mother of Swords. Now that was actually interesting. And the Son of Swords came out first. So bottom of the deck is the moon. The whole family of swords is out. That's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Aquarius holds Pluto. When did Pluto go direct? Actually, I'm not sure. Because I know it was supposed to be going direct. Pluto holds Aquarius, but it's currently sitting in Capricorn because it's retrograde. The Sun and Mercury and the South Node, I believe, are all in Libra because Mars has transited into Scorpio. And then I don't think anything's in Gemini. But I could be wrong. And then just air in general. Seven of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius. I'm lying. I mean, it could be Mercury in Aquarius. Could be Saturn in Aquarius. I don't know. It's somebody in Aquarius. 5, 6, 7. That would be Gemini. Mercury in Aquarius. Possibly. Because sometimes they line up and sometimes they don't. So that's why I haven't memorized them or why I don't know them. All right, one more. No flip overs. Nice. I'm going to put these face down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not working. Hey, Google, roll a d4.
It's 2.
2. So we get 2 cards. For the first one, hey, Google, roll a d6.
It's 3.
3. The first one goes here. Hummingbird flipped out, but I'm not taking flippers. Hey, Eve, how are you doing today? How art thou? I said mixer as if it was a mixer. It was an after hours. All right. Cut it in half. Hey Google, roll a d4.
It's 4.
Ooh, so we have one under the third one and the fifth one. Bottom of the deck is a butterfly. Butterfly symbolize transformation. It's the Hey Eve, I said it again. It's fine. Hi Reem, how are you doing? Girl, oof, not me being like, oh yeah, I went to this after work. I had 4 drinks, but I'm okay. I'm obviously not okay. And then I said Eve again. We had a food truck come. It was last Thursday night, and they had like hot dogs and chips, hot dogs and sides. And I go up to the guy. I don't really like chili. It depends. I'm very particular about chili. Most chilies I don't like. Um, and I was like, I wanted a cheese dog. But when I went up to the man, I was like, can I get a chili dog? I was like, no, I don't want chili. I only want cheese on it. Like, so can I get a chili dog? And then I was like, can I get a chili cheese dog? And I was like, no, I don't want the chili. Like, I couldn't, my brain could not say like cheese dog as one word. It could only produce chili dog. So I keep saying chili dog to this man. And I'm like, I don't want chili. I want cheese. A mess. Anyway, hi. I almost said it again. Hi, Reem. I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty well. I just sent you a voice note. I was gonna send it to you this morning. I had some dreams last night, and I was like, if I talk about it, I feel like I'd be putting it out there. And I told like, you did, yeah. I'm like, it was so weird. It was so weird. And so I am like low key, like, I don't yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Okay. And that's another thing because I was like, and like in the past few days, even before the past few days, it just came to me. It was like, um, it was like when I had that dream where Kali Ma was like, if I came today, like what would there be of tomorrow? And then it was like, allow the world to be rewritten. And it's just like it's been coming back to mind. Oh, I did. Yeah, the butterfly. Okay, all right, all right. And I was like, it could be like the world as we know it, and things could like turn out in a very different, very like gorgeous, very beautiful way. So it ain't necessarily gotta be whatever. But I remember like deliberating with my mom. I'm like, do we watch it? Like, dude, did we watch it or no? And I probably spoke it up. I don't know if it's because the lunar eclipse is coming, but I've been sleeping like an hour, like waking up every hour to 2 hours, partially because like I don't want to oversleep because I'm like working days this week and then I'll be back on my night rotation. Um, and I had a dream the night before last. I woke up like 15 times. Like, and one of those times I woke up after, so I'm supposed to be at work at 6 a.m. I woke up at like 6 something because I woke up in the dream and I look at my phone and I'm like, I didn't hear my alarm go off. Like, what? And so I'm like, I'm trying to wake up and I woke up in a dream and then I'm like, I'm still dreaming and I woke up in another dream. And I'm like, I'm trying to find out what time it is so I don't oversleep. I don't want to be in trouble. But one of the times I woke up, I was in some place and it was like kind of sort of ancestral. but not. Well, kind of, sort of. Because it was like, oh, this place was like, this is like your family, and there were like different things there. But at that point, I was freaking out about like oversleeping, so I didn't like explore too much. And I woke back up, and then I was in like this huge place. I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is so big. Like, anyway. But usually the lunar eclipses, like usually leading up to a lunar eclipse, like within 2 weeks, like a week and a half, I'll wake up like every 3 hours and I'll look at the clock. It'd be like 3 hours on the dot. And then the closer, it'll be like 1 to 2 hours, but I'm already on the 1 to 2. Solar eclipses, I sleep like a baby, and then I still wake up tired sometimes. I just be like resting. I get a lot of rest. And I feel like before I was feeling rested, but also like I need more rest. But anyway, oof, I need to get my eyes checked. I need to put my glasses back on. That's my excuse. Reem was like, "This is the rare gazelle." I was like, "Oh," but yeah, I'm like, I don't. I was gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Reem, can you pull like one card?" First, I wasn't gonna say anything to see if the death card came out. At the bottom of the Wild Unknown Tarot is the Six of Cups. So we have the Six of Cups and the butterfly. So we are starting this 5 card timeline with the Daughter of Swords, who is the first of her kin to appear. Uh, the Daughter of Swords could low key be like a download energy. Okay, thanks. 'Cause I was just like, well, and there was like something about the heartbeat in the dream. Like I can't remember what it was specifically, but I know it was like everything was paused. And then there was something that happened, and that's when like it got like it was getting louder and louder. And the closer I got to that moment of impact, like the louder and louder it would get. Now this feels kind of downloady because like she's up, her head's like in the stars, but she's holding on to the sword. This is the Daughter of Swords is also like somebody pulled the Page of Swords recently. And the Page of Swords, like their body is usually positioned one way, but they're facing a different direction. So the Page of Swords is good for like if there's something that's been done a certain way for a long time, like leave it up to the Page of Swords to be like, well, maybe like, should we keep doing it this way just because that's the way that it's always been done? Or like, well, they're doing it that way over there. Like there's something that catches the Page of Swords' attention and they're not so invested that they don't at least um give it some thought, like that they don't at least consider it. Um, I haven't seen the Scorpio reading. I'm gonna be watching that after this one. I watched the Cancer, Capricorn, and Sagittarius. Um, but I watched all of your readings. All of the rare gazelle I can get, I take, okay? But what was I saying? I already forgot. The Page of Swords looks. Oh, we've been talking about. So this week we've been doing like the refresher training where we cover everything. And we've been talking about bias and how specifically when it comes to like sensory or if we decontextualize it or decentralize it from sensory, when it comes to how things happen, there's a need for us to be able to look at things objectively, where it's like, regardless of the fact of whether I like this or don't like it, whether I agree or disagree, like, this is what is happening. Like, the occurrence of the thing is absolute. how I feel about it, how you feel about it, preferences, taste, all of that becomes like it subjectifies it. But it's like if we remove all of the subjective, like, is it salty? Is it sour? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? What is the texture? Like, what is the thing? What are some defining characteristics of the thing? Regardless of whether you like sour or sweet or salty or not, is it sweet, sour, or salty? And it's like the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords, but the Page of Swords especially is really good at being able to like at least consider things that they hadn't before. So after, oh gosh, after that comes the Son of Swords. Are we gonna get the whole court? Are we literally? Because we've seen all of them: the son, the daughter, the mother, and the father. Is it gonna be these 5 cards here? Who knows? What I actually like about this Son of Swords, though, is that he's heading towards the daughter. And the reason why I like this is it's almost like there's someone or something that has a little, oh, dark energy Monday. I thought they said dank energy. Um what was mine? I'm like, what was mine? What was going on Monday? This whole week I feel like I've been like partially here because I've been having to get up so early. Um what I like about this is that it's almost like the Son of Swords has some kind of credibility to it. Like the Daughter of Swords, like when it comes to the family, it's almost like the daughter is the youngest and the son is older than the daughter. And so whenever the Daughter of Swords says something, the king and queen are like, oh yeah, like I was young once. I had an imaginary friend and an imagination, and I used to believe that I could be a superhero and the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and all of this other stuff too. But since it's almost like since the Son of Swords is a little older or a little closer, the son has a little bit more credibility than the daughter would. And he's moving in her direction. Next is the Hierophant. So the Son of Swords is moving away from the Hierophant and towards the Daughter of Swords. The group chat is kind of blowing up because it's been fairly calm. Oh, snap. I'm like, where were y'all at? Hold up. What'd he say? Boo. Hold up. What did he say? I'm about to I'm about to throw this right back at him. Sorry. Can't pass up the opportunity. So the Son of Swords is turning away from the Hierophant, turning away from tradition, turning away from organized whatever. And he's heading towards the Daughter of Swords. Almost like this, like, because the Hierophant holds the key. So the Hierophant is like, if you want access to this, you're going to have to do this and this and that, and you're going to have to go through me. And then there's the Daughter of Swords, which is just like, doing it, or which internally, like, I wanted to say through her intuitionally, but like who internally knows of another way. I had a dream. No, I didn't. Sorry. Who knows of another way. And the Son of Swords is like heading in her direction, following, like going off the beaten path rather than following tradition. So this could be like, and the butterfly is at the bottom of the deck. And I guess with the butterfly and the Six of Cups, it could be so far this energy of like finding, tapping into an innate knowing about certain things and following those pathways and not necessarily going like by the book or by convention, regardless of how like niche or off of far removed from mainstream one is. No, at the Hierophant, we encounter the hyena. Now we see like the light and the dark side of the moon. Moon sort of being like spirituality in general. It's almost like when we are abiding by the Hierophant, we get one side of the Hierophant that is very like loving and warm and embracing. But when one chooses to like go in a different direction, then they get what is like kind of the judgmental Hierophant. They get the shadow of the Hierophant, they get condemnation, they get a whole bunch of stuff. Oh. Um, then it's almost like there's this other face of Hierophant that's shown. After that, we come into the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is Virgo. I don't know what planet specifically. The Hierophant is associated with Taurus. I think told from another perspective, it's almost like when we're children, we follow the guidance of the Hierophant. And when we come of age, we do things our own way or in a different way. It's like the Hierophant serves as an intermediary between us and the divine while we need one. And then at a certain point where we grow to know the voice of the divine, to see the symbols and synchronicities for ourselves, then we form that more intimate connection, that more intimate relationship. The Hierophant is kind of sort of removed from the picture. The daughter of swords is the one that's connected, just like a child, the one that's more connected. And I think Reem, you mentioned this in one of the videos recently. Just like how a child is more like, since they're so freshly born, they're more connected to the other side, to the veil. It's like they hear more directly and they see more plainly. Um, and so this key is given more so than the key is withheld or used as a sort of bait. There's been a lot of lightning lately, especially, well, more so thunder with the buffalo. Um, in the mystical shaman oracle cards. then that leads to that leading to the Ten of Pentacles. The 10th pentacle is inside of the center one. So it's like this um, abundance and this radiance, this brilliance that comes from the inside out. Then we encounter this Father of Wands. Father of Wands is interesting because under the Hierophant, we have the element of fire. Now we see the Father of Fire and the Father of Wands, also with that lightning bolt. Now, the Father of Wands being like wands, being a suit that's associated with like magic. It's almost this. It's almost like it's this how we use it because the Father of Wands Thunderbolt is like red and orange. If you can see it, it's a lot closer to the center of this, where that 10th pentacle is. Then at the Father of Wands, we encounter the black egg. The black egg being, I'm pretty sure it's associated with the throat chakra. It's like finding your own voice or using your own voice. It's your truth. It's whatever is associated with you, a facet of you, or an aspect of your relationship in particular. And it's from the root. It's interesting that it's from the root and that it's not, because again, it's this red orange, it's a root sacral. And the only reason, honestly, why it's interesting to me is because it's like, like we're always trying to operate from the heart and we do this from the heart and we do that from the heart. But like when it comes from the root, then like that's when you know that it's really taken root, right? Like that's when you know it's like who you are versus this version of yourself that you try to tap into and then operate from. And that's like no tea, no shade, not coming for anybody. But it's like it's when it's who you are. Like there's a difference between like when something is like who you are and when something is like there's this version of myself that I play when I'm around other people where I'm a lot more patient and nurturing and kind, but behind closed doors I'm as mean and nasty as I want to be. But nobody has to see that, so nobody knows, right? It's like it goes beneath the persona, it goes beneath the mask. It's actuality, it's from the root, it's from the core. And that's where, like, I guess there are many truths, but some of the truest truths, like, that's where they come from. It's from that core, from the root. This feels so incomplete to me. Um, but I mean, if it's like the black egg, which is your truth and the truth of like your voice, going beyond the hierophant, going beyond the general to the specifics of you operating from the core of your truth. And this is just a general reading. I don't know how specific it can be. You know what I mean? Like, this is about as specific as it can get, especially since the hierophant is like somebody else telling you. Like, I would in essence be the hierophant in this case doing this general reading, and you as the person who this resonates for would be the one that takes this further into the core of who you are. And it's like it's this interaction and relationship between you at the core of who you are and the divine. and how there's like certain aspects or ways that the divine manifests through you at like a base level. Like no thought, no whatever, no you trying to be. It's like when you're at the grocery store at whatever time of like random time of day versus like when you are at at an event or going live or like around people of influence where you try to be like a better version of yourself essentially. And like it's not to say that like you being in your heart and doing whatever is always you trying to be a better version of yourself. But again, there's just something about this that goes deeper. And it goes all the way to the roots. It goes all the way to it's like who you are before any circumstance or condition or environment or whatever. I really gotta go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Actually, I think I'm just gonna end this because this is basically it, and then I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I don't know. This one didn't necessarily come out how I thought it would. These are not chocolate. I just saw the dragon. I feel like I never see the dragon. The dragon and then the dragonfly. Yeah, it's just like it's time to give your is that the father of no, it's the eight of cups. It's just like it's time to give your own voice or I don't know. Yeah, you too. All right. Ooh. You see that? I'm gonna tap like here. I saw this card when I was I don't know what card I put back on top of this. Ariel, hey, how you doing? 9 of 8. This is the 8 of Pentacles, which is the spider web. The spider web is like very densely packed outside, but fairly loose on the inside. And then the 9 of Pentacles, 898, and Justice are here. They came out. Since I'm not, I gotta go to, I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I gotta go to the restroom. I can't hold it. I'm pouring drinks in, and the still's already been broken. All right, I'm back. Oof, if I could sit down. So it's like with the white cat and the black cat, Like there are these white feathers that form the boundaries, and then there's this black void space in between. And so it's like it's an energy of the higher self, but it's not the higher self in a way that I feel it's typically talked about or mentioned, because it feels like oftentimes a higher self in terms of a future self, it's like the best version of us, but it's a very like fluid and a very flexible higher self here. um Almost as if like the higher self were many versions of ourself that we could be. So, like, let's say that you could be a doctor or a lawyer or an actress, actor, singer, um, many things. And like all of those would be your higher selves. Like, there's a version of you that's the doctor, that's the cardiac surgeon, that's the best in the world, or whatever. There's a version of you that is the lawyer that does cases for like very high profile, very like serious, whatever, right? It's almost like the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of actors, singers, doctors, lawyers, whatever. But it's like that collectively is like your higher self. It's not just this one version where you do everything perfect. And so it's almost like there's this you coming into embodying being day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment, this better and better and better version of you. But at the same time, it's like how you utilize your resources to make it so. So it's like you and your higher self almost. Um, but honestly, it's just like making better and better and better choices and decisions. And it's not better in any necessarily objective way. It's better in comparison to like who you were yesterday, or better in comparison of like getting closer to whatever goal you have in mind, or more like there's something like from the void, from the darkness, it extracts these gold pentacles. And then the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck is just like the day to day, daily grind to get there. It's like those choices and decisions every day. It's the habits. It's like habits are that web. Speaking of, I need to do yoga today because I've missed the past like 2 days. Oof, I do not miss the hot weather. I have not had my like air on in the past few days. I'm hoping my electric bill is real low. But I've been loving it. And again, like there is something about, I don't even know if it's necessarily about choice or if it's just how you use what you're given at any particular time, or like a measure of resourcefulness. Almost like oh, like we gave the hermit in strength. Oh, like we dropped this hint, we gave this sign, this signal, this synchronicity. Like there are these things that we have to use. Like, are they using it? And it's not necessarily judged and evaluated more so than it is like anticipated question mark or just a question of it. Almost like, you're a test subject in an experiment and they're just observing and noting and witnessing, like, do they prefer this thing or that thing? How do they use this? Do they use it? Type of, whatever. Mother of Wands, Four of Wands, Mother of Cups. So the Mother of Wands is attractive. The Four of Wands is a space of mutual reception. And then that Mother of Cups is pre High Priestess connected to sort of what comes next. So it's like this: if we manifest something, if we call something in, and this is something that's come up every now and then, especially on this channel. Um, it's like with that Page of Swords, the head turner of the Page of Swords, it's like, are we attentive and aware enough to sort of like notice when those opportunities are brought to us? And we may not necessarily know how they're going to play out in the long run. More often than not, we probably don't. But it's like, do we notice those things when they come up? And then do we pursue them? Do we tend to them, care for them, nurture them? Do we engage in them, or do we just sort of like let them go? Do the seeds become duds because we don't water them? Or do they grow into whatever they're going to grow into? And again, it doesn't necessarily feel judgmental today. Surprising, right? Is it surprising that on Real Patrick isn't judgmental? Maybe not. If you know me, probably not. But if you don't, then what? Um, again, it feels more like a point of observation. Like, oh, they didn't take that. Oh, they're not going to do that. Okay. More so than like, you know, 4 tiny humans for cold weather every day. You just get big coats and layers. Oh, who is that? The lamb. The lamb and the raccoon. I saw a dead raccoon on the side of the road today. We went to breakfast because the network was down. So we went out to breakfast. And on the way back to work, there was a dead raccoon on the side of the road. I was like, no. Oh my gosh. Speaking of transformation, yeah, let's go to final animal. And then I tried to look at my dream and I'm like, I don't even know how to like look this up. Because everything I like look up, it wasn't necessarily that. It's like, oh no, oh, it's the zebra. Zebra, otter, white tiger, fish, hyena at the bottom. This is who I thought it was. I'm not taking all these. But there they are. Look, we got the moon twice on the forehead of the high priestess. Okay, are we gonna take these? Like zebra is what? The all is mind, the universe is mental energy. It sees it in the third eye. And it creates that possibility. It opens itself up to a possibility of something that it can't necessarily, or that it isn't necessarily perceiving when it's with its physical eyes. The otter is like the softening. I love the tiger too. I mean, tiger is one of my favorite animals, but it's fine. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's become one of my favorites because of what it has come to symbolize for me. Um, but the otter is this like, it's almost like when I made that community post the other day because I was watching this movie and they're like, "We're gonna do the impossible. If it were real life, it would never happen." And I'm like, First, I was like, "Oh, like this is never gonna happen." Then I was like, "Oh, it's a movie, so like they're probably gonna do the corny thing where they do the impossible, and then everything works out in the end. It's so unrealistic." But then I was like, "You know what? I'll take it." And that's when I was like, I'm thinking of the miracle of cinema today and how in those like when we can suspend disbelief and we can allow the thing that we would never think of as realistic or never think of as possible to happen, even to the point where we begin to expect it. How, in that small window, manifestorially, we become open to something that we're not necessarily expecting or that we're not necessarily open to. And so, in those times and in those moments, it allows for the good things that are like too good to be true, for the better things that are too good to be true, because we're already like suspending disbelief as we go into it. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I'll take it. And then I made the community post about it. And it's almost like that's what this otter is following the zebra. And maybe this is more for me. Maybe this ain't necessarily for everybody. Um, because it's like with the zebra, it is manifested, it is thought of, it is imagined. And then following up with the otter, it's like it's naive, quote unquote, enough to believe that it could actually happen. And then after that, the tiger high priestess energy is like, okay. And it goes from the third eye on the zebra to reality. Like like it goes from the third eye to something in the external environment in that same element of earth or in that same element of water that we had with the otter. Fire, water, zebra, otter, high priestess, fish. Bottom of the deck is the hyena. Fire, water, fire. And it's that dark side of the moon. Excuse me. I feel like I saw that India landed a rover or a probe or landed something on the dark side of the moon. And it's like for a while, the dark side of the moon has been this uncharted, mysterious whatever. But now we're going to get to like image it. We're going to get to like see what's actually over there. No, I'm not going to take these as a final card. Crow, rabbit, dolphin, cosmic egg, because that was a lot. See you later, Reem. Love you too. Thanks for stopping in. This will be over soon. Honestly, it could have been over right there, but there was a lot of cards for the final card. And maybe that's what that Six of Cups and the butterfly energy is. It's almost like if there's something that we've always thought to have been possible or believed to have been true, but we were conditioned to believe it's not so because of how the world works or how the world was operating. Then it's like that butterfly transformation creates this space or this opportunity for the thing that was believed back here to like work through and like bloom, blossom, and sprout as if it were a plant. It's like let's say that you plant rose seeds and then like you do the whole thing and after a year or 2 years you don't get a rose bush, so you think that again like the seeds are duds or they remain dormant or whatever, so you plant something else, corn, because why not, it's a plant. So you plant corn or tulips, you plant tulips and the tulips come up and you're watering the tulips in that season. You're like, oh my gosh, they're gorgeous whenever they actually sprouted. So I know that the soil isn't bad. But in the next season, the roses come up. like something happened or transpired to allow the thing that was previously planted and thought to have not been viable to actually grow. And in that specific scenario, it makes me think of like nitrogen fixing plants, like plants that put nitrogen back into the soil. So like let's say that there wasn't enough nitrogen for whatever you planted to sprout, germinate, whatever. And so you plant something that fixes nitrogen. And after that nitrogen fixer grows, they start to pump nitrogen into the soil so that by the time the next growing season comes, that seed that was dormant, that was forgotten about or thought to have been a dud, it has everything it needs to grow and it grows. The phoenix at the bottom of the deck again. Rebirth. Phoenix and the sea serpent. All right, can I get like one of these, please? There we go. Oh no, that's way too many. That's way too many. First, the cosmic egg flipped over, and then the scorpion flipped over, and like 5 cards fell on the deck. The nightingale, the black egg. The black egg is a repeat appearer today. The zebra is also a repeat appearer today. The nightingale, the black egg, and the zebra. The nightingale, the black egg, and the zebra is almost like there is something that we might notice. The nightingale feels like a call or an alarm or an alert. Like there's something that happens. And then we look at the black egg and then we see the thing through the zebra. The thing that which we had manifested or whatever, right? Oh, I'm not taking that one. The elk flipped over, turned back over. The rabbit was turned over. One more. The lamb and the nightingale. And then there's the elk that had made an appearance again. This is making me think of suspension of disbelief. Like with the innocence of the lamb, it feels like it would be easy to be called naive. This is all earth and air at the bottom of the deck. Dragonfly, air, elk, earth, lamb, earth, nightingale came out air. Um, and again, like it's in the space of this darkness. There's something that happens. It's almost like there's something that happens that make us think or believe that something might actually be possible. And then it's almost this like, well, if I was right about this, then what else was I right about? Or like, if this is possible, if this could happen, then what else could happen? Type of energy. And it feels like that's what leads to or precedes this like bigger almost change or turn of events or happenings. It's almost like if when you were a kid, you believed in magic and you weren't able to do magic, and growing up, you find out that magic isn't real. But one day you meet an actual real life magician, and then you're like, whoa. So, like, if magic is like actually real or like really real, then like, what else is real? Or like, how far does this go? And then it's like from that time when you try to implement the things that you would do as a kid, or it's like when your imagination comes back online and you get access to the thing, then you get to do or be this like wonderful, extraordinary, whatever. Like no longer subjected to the limitations, restrictions, and confines that you believed that you were because of circumstances at the time. And that's the thing about those, like the fluid higher self. It's almost like it exists beyond negative circumstance, or it exists beyond limiting beliefs or restrictions. So that's what I got. Well, no problem. I'm glad it's resonating for somebody. Because honestly, that's why I'm like, oh, I've had 4 drinks. It's fine. Maybe I shouldn't, but I am. My mom was like, you better not go live. I'm like, watch me. But yeah, just in general, um, I don't know if things weren't as they should have been or what the environment is. But another thing to note about that fish, it was like it's the moon. So it was happening at night. It's happening in the dark. It's happening when most things are asleep. And so if you're also asleep, you may not necessarily notice with that fish because it was the zebra, the something, the tiger, and the fish. The zebra, the otter, the tiger, and the fish. I don't know. Or it's just a time or a season of like the impractical being possible, the impenetrable being penetrable, sure. The impossible being inevitable. Well, I don't remember what it was specifically, but like with the 4 samurai swords, it was like it turns the impossible into the improbable into the probable or possible, and the probable or possible into the inevitable. So it is honestly very like you wouldn't get this thought or idea or be led or guided to do this if it weren't going to work out. Like you wouldn't be pushed in this direction. And there's a difference between being led, guided, and pushed and like wanting and desiring. You know what I mean? Because sometimes there are things that we want and it may not necessarily align with um we may want something really bad and our intuition and discernment may not necessarily be confirming that for us, but since we want it as bad as we want it, we try to like make it or force it, you know and then we go like, well, I didn't get this, what gives? And it's like, that wasn't for you. And if you end up if you keep pushing it and you get it, you might find out why it wasn't for you. Like everything was like trying to like steer me and guide me away from this, but I went and did it anyway, and things turned out, and now I know why I was trying to be kept from this. I wish I would have listened. Or you maybe the opposite, who knows? I don't know. I'm just the dude. I'm a dude with paper and ink in this place. So happy early birthday, Holly. Yeah, it's that's what I got. I don't. I'm gonna do like 6 more of these. So with the 2, 3, I was gonna use the 2 tarot decks, and then for the 3 different tracks, I was gonna do like track 1, track 2, track 3. But now I'm like, oof. Like I feel like ultimately it was pretty succinct, and maybe it's just like of the times or the energy, because there are certain things where it's like If it's about like authenticity or who you are at like a soul level or on like your relationship with the divine, and this is a general reading, or like me, someone who is not you, who may not have any kind of clue that the divine can work through you in the ways that the divine are working through you and are going to work through you, it's going to be like whatever. Like it's almost inherently vague or open to accommodate any and all. I don't know. Anyway, thank you. I almost said Eve again. I don't. Maybe you'll watch this later, Eve. I don't know. I got Eve on the brain. Thank you, Reem and Holly and Ariel, for being here. I hope you all have an amazing whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're all well, not just you three. I hope everyone, anyone who comes across this video, is acting in alignment to make all that they wish to experience their reality, your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and what you find in a way that is at least fairly decently like recognizable. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's like this came up and I was like getting this sign or symbol of synchronicity, but I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know why this was happening. And then you find out, like, it'd be like that sometimes. Um, and I hope you have the courage, bravery, and wherewithal to venture out and explore those things that are for you to explore. And I also hope you a healthy level of discernment that can separate your intuition from your like not intuition. Wishful thinking, paranoia, fear, trauma, um, strong desire for a particular outcome, whatever. And until next time. I will see y'all later. No problem. Bye.